Hey, everybody. Hi there. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Chris. I'm with my good friend, Jim McCormick. How are you, Jim?
Yeah, how's it going?
It's got to get, well, I mean, you don't really, you could put the Philly Axon on ice for 1 week because we will not see your beloved Philadelphia Eagles at all until next week. They get a bye. The Kansas City Chiefs get a bye, somewhat controversially, whatever. And so we are here to talk about the wild card weekend, 6 games, some of which will probably stink, but some of them are going to be pretty fun. And we have made the executive decision to collectively be head wound Favre. We are going to bang ourselves on the noggin and forget our records from the regular season, both of which wound up under 500. I have to say, Jim, like for you were on the podcast version of this thing for 3 years, I think. Did either of us ever go negative? I don't think.
I blame the extra week. I think it was the extra week that threw us off. It's like, you saw how bad the football was last week. That's not our fault.
Yeah. Well, last week was. I mean, we even started that show last week by just saying, "Come on, man, don't bet these games." Right. Pretty much. And that turned out to be, just a bunch of people resting guys and Brady coming out in the second quarter and whatever. Right. Like turned into a bunch of nonsense. And not only did we get our best bets wrong, although I have to say, like my second best bet, the second one was Steelers, and that was okay, but we got our best bets wrong. We asked, as we do every week, people down in the comments, hey, tell us your best bet. Jim, literally nobody got it right. We had like
0 for 9.
Double-digit people.
Yeah.
Was it 9? Yeah. I don't even know. Like they suggested someone, and it was a bunch of different someones, and nobody came through. So we all got into a very controlled head wound situation, whether it was like falling asleep on a desk and clanging our heads, or like 5 miles an hour and like running into the curb. And we're just going to forget it.
Collective reset. Okay. So,
and we are going to have this show throughout the playoffs leading up to the Super Bowl. And we feel, I mean, personally, I have to say, I feel unbelievable. I'm pretty much guaranteeing 6-0 this weekend.
Obviously.
These are my super high tech lock picks. 6-0 this weekend. If you don't get your money back, you get your money back. What?
I like that.
And
I want to give you my credit card. Like,
I'm gonna do. I mean, I have to say, I think these lines are pretty sharp. But I have some info about where. At least we're recording this early in the week. I have some info about where the big money is so far, and we'll see if that lends us any insight. Let's dig right in, unless you have any opening thoughts with these 6 games.
No, I mean, just really impressed that that there's football. I'm happy. Yeah.
That is really impressive.
I mean, I wanted to go deep. I wanted to pull that from somewhere special. So, yeah.
Let's darken your soul.
Yep.
All right, so let's do the Saturday games first. And the first game is the Seahawks. They're coming to California. They're going to San Francisco. I don't think we expect this game to be a great one, and I don't think Vegas does either. Although there's an interesting amount of smart money on Seattle, and I'll explore that in a second. But as of our recording this, and again, these lines are going to change leading up to game time, so if it's changed when you're watching this, we apologize. But at the moment, it's Niners minus 9.5.
Yeah. So I guess the conundrum, and I've had this all season in a way, is that the Niners suppress these games. They control the clock. The over-under is 43, but the spread's close to 10. It just feels... Not that that's odd. That's how this team has operated all season. It just feels like a very specific, outcome is lined up with these numbers. That said,
and does that lead you to Seattle?
No. It does. I thought it was going to, but I actually have some. This isn't complete. Ridiculous. This isn't completely absent of thought, like some of my picks or most of my picks. Seattle had 20 possessions this year and scored 1 touchdown against San Francisco. Right. That's pretty rough. I get the Purdy thing, but I just don't think they're going to get to him. I don't think there's anybody on this defense that changes the outcome. So I had it at 10, so I'm going to go with San Francisco.
Jim, you and I, man, we've been doing this too long together. I had it at 10 as well, which doesn't make you feel great. No. And if the line goes to 12 or whatever, I'll probably be on the other side of it. But for all the reasons you said, like, what are the paths to Seattle? So I will tell you, I'm going to read off of my notes here. 2/3 of the total bets, or now we're recording this, midway through the week. 2/3 of the total bets are on the 49ers. Very public,
right?
That's a public number. But the line's actually dropping.
Yeah.
The line was more than 10 previously. Now it was in double digits, and now it's down to 9.5, which tells you the actual money is moving it in the direction of Seattle. And to dovetail with how you described the potential game flow here, the under. People are hammering the under,
right.
and it's a low number for the wise guys to be handling.
Yeah.
The sharps are hitting the under. The majority of the number of bets is on the over, and the actual money is on the under. I don't think it's supposed to be a bad weather game. There's a chance of rain, and it's like a 10 mile an hour thing. It's not going to be a crazy wind game. The way to think about it would be, if I like the under, then I probably, like you say,
like the like Seattle,
like the dog. I can't do it.
Yeah, I want to actually, but I can't. So I think this is the team. Seattle's the team that shouldn't be in the playoffs to me. So yeah.
I would say there's another team coming up that maybe shouldn't be, but I'm okay. I'm okay with that statement as well. If this were Green Bay, had they not pooed themselves once again in a must-win game, would you feel different about this game? Would you be like, it should be 6? I don't think I don't think
I would, and I don't. Yeah. I think I'd still be going with the superior team. Yeah.
What if it were the Lions?
Oof, yeah.
If it were the Lions, that might be the one team that's a little hotter than the other ones. And I mean, the Seahawks have also just been dreadful against the spread in the second half. There's just a lot of stuff that makes me go, really? Are they?
I miss Dan Campbell already, so I get it,
Me too. All right, so the Saturday night game, one of the good ones, I think. The Chargers are favored on the road. They're going to Jacksonville. The Chargers are favored by 2.
Yeah. I had this at 3, and I actually think maybe I was being light. Meaning I think the Chargers can make an argument to be more than a kick. So I'm going to go with the Chargers. I just think it's the better team. I understand they constantly Charger. But I think the Jaguars, that was their Super Bowl, this turnaround, that was it. So.
I hear Dave Piper laughing just because you said the word Jaguars. That's why we.
This is crazy. I forget about it. It's such a natural defect. So.
It's not a defect. It's just another. You're differently abled.
Yes.
You're not. It's no problem. May I take you back to week 3? Are you aware of what happened here in the City of Angels in week 3?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jacksonville won 38-10.
I know. Yeah.
And we all got really, really confused. So I think once again. I'm going to be on the other side here. I think once again, it looks like to me from what I'm seeing first of all, a number like 2, and this is going to come up later. It's just great teaser territory, right? You love it when it's on 2 because you're going to tease at 6 points. You get to go through 2 big numbers. You get to go through 3. You get to go through 7. So if you're looking to tease a couple of games, there's another one coming up where I'd say tease it to Jags plus 8 and the next team as well. Right. And yet, once again, I don't think the smart money is on the Chargers. Least of all because they Charger.
Yes.
So I'm not trying to. I understand what you mean. That probably if you line up these rosters,
right,
the Chargers have a better roster. I don't want my money going toward Justin Herbert proving that he won't be weird in the playoffs.
Right. And the Mike Williams thing matters. They really are very fragile with their build. It's very contextual. It's very dependent on his 50-50 stuff. So yeah.
Right. Well, and that's another thing we should say is that as of our recording this, we just don't know about Mike Williams yet. It hasn't sounded good to start, but if you're watching this on Saturday morning and you're like, dude, he's playing. Okay. I mean, I don't think I would change my pick.
What was Staley's explanation? It was just no one told him or something? Did he not get the email? That didn't matter?
That is
that he played those guys. No, that he played these guys.
Yeah.
I think he said we needed guys to play. And then the Giants treated Richie James like he's Devontae Adams. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I think they could have moved their seating a little bit, but who cares? Right. I mean, it's a good question. It only matters when Mike Williams gets hurt, but
right, exactly.
Mike Williams tends to get hurt. Let's take a break and just thank DraftKings. We very much appreciate DraftKings continuing to sponsor this little show during the playoffs. You can get a great deal if you're interested in using any of these pieces of advice or the opposite thereof, but on DraftKings, if you download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, you use the code HarrisTube. They actually still have that promotion going where your first $5 bet, you don't have to pick a point spread winner. You can just say the Niners are going to win outright and make a $5 bet on it. And if you win it, you'll get $200 in free bets where you can play around with. You can't cash out $200 immediately. They'd lose a lot of money, but there's a formula by which if you keep playing it, eventually it becomes your money. You'll have a bankroll that way. It's fun. And if you're going to be watching these games anyway, and maybe your team is not in the playoffs, or like Jim, they're on bye, it's a fun way to have a rooting interest. Jim, I know like I can't do DraftKings because I live in California, but like I'll do a $5 bet on my platform of choice, and suddenly I'm like the most rabid fan in the world. I'm like, I care so much. So we just hope that you will use that promo code HarrisTube if and when you do download this DraftKings Sportsbook app. And we thank them again for continuing to sponsor. All right, let's move to Sunday. Here's my nominee for the team that really doesn't belong in the playoffs. Yeah. I was pretty happy when the Jets were beating the Dolphins. And it took a defensive score, right, for the Dolphins to make this. Even if it were the Steelers, that's who it would have been.
Right.
Not the Patriots, believe me, not the Patriots. I'm not arguing for those idiots, but the Dolphins, boy, they stink. And they're going to have a third-string quarterback. Skylar Thompson is the QB. There was a time where the wise guys seemed to be calling this too many points because it opened at 11.5, and it immediately went to 9, Jim, like right away, because people were betting on the thought that maybe Tua would be okay. And as soon as word came out that he wasn't, it didn't go back to 11.5. It went to 13.
Right. Yeah. No. And
so what do you think?
I think the Tua thing makes sense because that was probably their last like good game, like that game in Buffalo, Miami. That was their.
Yeah, they played well in that game.
And then maybe the first half against the Packers. But independent of that, this is a team that's been bad for like 6 weeks, right? Like ever since that West Coast trip, when they got beat up by the Chargers and the Niners, like it's been bad since then. I don't think this roster's fun. It's predicated on speed, but it's like not built for this. Like it's not built to recover without their quarterback. And this is ridiculous. Like what we needed was we need the Super Bowl with the 7th round rookie quarterbacks is what we need. So we need Miami, Brock Purdy, obviously. So
right, obviously Skylar Thompson.
I'm giving
Brock
the points,
Purdy.
So,
Yeah, I am also going to give the points. Although, Jim, I guessed 3 lines correct.
Right. This is one of them.
And I guessed who guesses 13 and has it turned out to be the line?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Come on, man. The Skylar Thompson effect. I love it. So.
Yeah, but I was like, okay, if it's 13, then I'm okay because it'll be either 14 or 11 or something. And no, as of our recording, it's 13. So in other words, I think 13 is a good number. Like there's a way that Miami does what they did against the Jets, and the Jets did, like stick around, score a defensive touchdown. Whoops. They're just so banged up on the offensive line. They're so banged up in the secondary. I feel like Buffalo can almost name their number in this game. So forced to make a pick, which I am. Oh, by the way, I buried the lead here. I'm not allowed to push any games. I'm picking every playoff game, even when I nail the line, which I did, which is good because I need 3 out of the 6 this week.
Half the slate,
13. I'm giving them. I don't feel great about it. Bills, we both have. Next game, I don't know that they're good teams, but it does seem like they're evenly matched teams, and they gave us a good game in the regular season. The Giants are going back to Minnesota, and the Vikings completely poop themselves against the Packers in a quest for a higher seed, and then go out and really handle things against the Bears. And they're obviously Vegas is not respectful of how they've performed lately because they're only a 3-point favorite at home.
And they haven't been for quite some time. We got caught in that trap with Dallas earlier this season. Then the next week, Detroit. Like it was just like it was like Winnie the Pooh. Like I just kept going, falling in the ditch. And I'm not going to do that again. I'm going with the Giants.
You're giving up. You're taking the points.
Yeah, I just think I mean, obviously this is like a pick 'em in a way. Not really, but like I just think it's going to be low scoring.
Right. Home field's 1.5 or 2. That's what everybody says now.
So I just think between like the blitzing and Daniel Jones like has been okay. I don't know. It's like a weird misfit island team, but I just think like the coaching gap is real. Like I don't know. I don't think that O'Connell's bad, but I think that Dable's pretty special. And Wink Martindale is weird, but Cousins isn't good against the blitz. So I like it.
So another line that I guessed exactly 3. I think it was 4 when they played in Minnesota previously, and I had the Giants, and then the Vikings win on the late kick that they never should have had, right? And that's how they win by 3. So I was like, oh, well, I'll just, I'll make it 3, no problem. I'm sure I'll be some. And I nailed the line exactly. Yep. So I don't feel like there's tons of value here, but I will once again give you a wise guy stat as I refer to my notes.
Sure.
40% of the bets, 40% are on the Giants. More than 50% of the money is on the Giants. And I think explicably, but it also bears mentioning that the sharps are really hammering the over. Like the number keeps going up, and
most of them are named Jerry from North Jersey. So
a lot of he's very sharp. Yeah, he's very sharp. I think what's the number? What is the total?
The total is at 46. What is it?
So high. So no, it's more than 46. I think.
Is it?
You tell me. I'm not looking.
I'm about to look at it. It is 48.
Yeah, 48. So it's a pretty high total. And so a lot of the smaller bets are on the under just because that's 48 is kind of a big total. And the money, I think 54% of the money is on the over. So there's a lot of points in this game. I think the Giants can score on the Vikings defense. Can't they? Yeah, sure they can. Why not? I think, they did it before. So again, I nailed the line, so I don't want to call this crazy or anything, but the sharps do seem to be on the Giants side. And in this case, unlike the Seahawks case, I will actually take their advice and be with you on the Giants. Sunday night? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like kind of a fun window to watch games.
Why did they pick this?
What is the thought behind repeating the same Week 17 matchup? The Ravens go back to Cincinnati. The Bengals end the season as hot as basically the Niners, right? And that's pretty red hot. And they once again are hosting the Ravens. The line this time around is Bengals -8, which again I nailed.
Yeah. I would bet the over on Bengals fans calling the Ravens dirty on Twitter. I just think that's going to happen at least 900,000 times. But this Ravens defense is playing really well, so it's a big line, but it's the quarterback thing to me. This obviously is a Lamar line, like Lamar's outline, which seems like that's the case. This is
Lamar's outline, right? Yeah.
And that seems like that's the case. It hasn't been declared, but there's no indication that he's coming back. And maybe that's a long-term play, but it's a PCL injury. I don't know. So, they're already starting to do the talk bad about him in the media thing now, which is interesting. Getting ahead of it
because he's a free agent too.
Yeah, they're getting ahead of it. Yeah. So I'm gonna. I had this at I hit this. I had this at 8. So
we both did.
I guess
we don't want to
because I was play this. Not playing. So yeah.
Sure. I mean, I did too. I'm not setting this line at 8 if Lamar Jackson's playing. Right. It's probably the third stringer. It's probably Anthony Brown again, right? Yes. And my problem isn't with the Raven defense. You're right. They'll hang in there. They'll do their best. They have the guys that can run with Chase, and Higgins himself is not healthy and not positively plays. I mean, again, we're giving you injury information that we have midweek. There could be more information that comes out. And frankly, Lamar walks in a hero. What does this line go to? 5.5?
Yeah, a weirdo Vegas line. 4.5, 5. Yeah.
I don't think 4.
Bigger than that. 5.5. 5.5.
Yeah. 5.5, 6, something like that.
Right.
And at which point, again, I would sort of be,
I
would be stumped. Yeah, I wouldn't exactly know what I'd want to do. I'm gonna go Bengals again. It's a line that I nailed. 3 of them I nailed. I got to make a pick. I'm gonna pick the Bengals. I don't think there's a lot of value against that defense having to score more. Beat them by more than a touchdown. In the end, sure. Do I think the Bengals score 30? No. Do I think the Ravens scored 10? That's.
Yeah.
They better have a return touchdown. Can Naheem Hines play on 2 teams? Can he fly?
I think he can. Yeah, it's
fly back down. He's allowed to, right?
Yeah.
Or a defensive score. So I don't love it. It's too many points. But since I nailed it, I'll say Bengals.
Word.
Okay. All right. Then we get Monday night, and this one's actually fun and maybe worth dwelling upon and spending a little more time on, because the Cowboys, whom I know you think are very good.
Yeah.
Last week notwithstanding. But, they played all their guys, but there was some motivational question against the Commanders, especially as I'm sure they looked at the scoreboard and the Eagles eventually got their stuff together, and they knew they weren't going to win the division, and they knew they were going to Tampa. So maybe I don't know. It was rough. I'm making excuses for them, but they're going to Tampa and they're favored by 2.5. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the nature of this preseason, I know they were motivated to play. They had something to play for in theory. But
right.
it was. I think they could also tell, like, see the scoreboard watching, and it was just like those games weren't going to happen. I have no idea. I think Dak got them weird Christmas presents, like an AMC monthly pass, and they're just like, I don't even live near an AMC. Like, what a terrible gift. Like, like free. He's just like, I'm sponsored, and they're just like, you are a terrible person. That could not be the case. He might be a good gift giver. The one thing is, I know this comes from Jason Garrett, so he wants this to happen. But I do buy the grass turf splits with the Cowboys defense. Like, they're pretty much like league average on grass. But they're because of their speed, but they're gonna like get to Tom Brady, I think, like regularly in this game. I had this at 4. I get this Vegas zone kind of line, but yeah, I kind of don't. Like, they're just a better team. Like, I know Ryan Jensen's coming back, but this Tampa team wasn't good all year. Like, what happened here?
No. So. Yeah. I'm gonna differ with you and go with the wise guys on this one too. I'm gonna take Tampa. I'm trying not to let my Brady Bobo-ness, take over. So the Tampa, because of Brady, is always going to be a public team. They are a public team in this bet as well. Dallas is one of the most public teams in the world. They still can't overcome Brady. Right. 50 as of our recording this midweek, and again, this can change. Obviously, way more action's going to come in after we record this than before we record this, but early line stuff, people trying to set the market and get best prices. 54% of the total bets came in on Tampa, but 2/3 of the money came in on Tampa. So there are some big bets on Tampa here. So some sharp feeling that maybe the Cowboys aren't legit, and that there's there's a lot of stuff about the Cowboys where you go, wow, if it goes bad, you're not going to be shocked.
Sure.
From you mentioned it, from the quarterback who's never been good in the playoffs. He's never, he's not, it's overstated how terrible Dak Prescott is in the playoffs, but he hasn't ever been great in them. And Mike McCarthy, I mean, need we say more? It's also the other teaser candidate that I was mentioning, because once again, you get to go through 3 and 7. So if you want to tease, for example, the 2 home dogs, Jacksonville and Tampa, and get plus 8-ish on both of them, 7.5 or 8. I sort of like that. Just assuming close games, that's probably not a terrible number.
Does the Washington game still matter? I'm sorry, the Washington game, like how bad they were, like Dallas. Like, I'm picking Dallas, but they were like particularly bad. They were like extra bad.
The offense was unbelievably bad. And my feeling is, okay, on the offensive side of the ball for Tampa, like, Dallas is going to make a lot of plays. You're absolutely right. And Tampa's offensive line better play better than it's been playing. But they also give up a lot of plays. They do. Like, and this just in, Tampa has playmakers. Like, Mike Evans will go score 4 touchdowns.
He just woke up like a week ago too. It was great.
If you let him. So there's a way for Tampa to overcome what I imagine will be a lot of pressure in Brady's face, and then go in the other direction. I think we know, and we've talked about in the second half of the year, the Commander defense is really good, and it was always scary they were always underdogs. It was always scary to have to give points against them, because you just worried, is this the week they give up 1 touchdown, right? And last week showed you against a very good offense that seemed like it was motivated. I mean, let alone score points. Cowboys can get first downs.
It was bad. It was bad.
It was really bad. And so the question you have to ask yourself is, Tampa has a lot of names on that defense, a lot of guys that we know from these past few years of being on national TV all the time because of Brady and Super Bowl champs, and like the defense kind of carried them through a lot of that Super Bowl year. But they haven't played that like that this year. So the question is, can some of those big names, are they ready to rip off the shirt and show the cape and all that stuff, and kind of impersonate how the Commanders took care of Dallas last week?
I just want to see the Dak Eli face, So we don't know these guys, but Dak certainly seems like a nice super
gentleman.
Nice. Bad gift giver, great guy.
I'm not. I don't know. I have nothing particularly against him or the Cowboys, but boy, I don't know that the Buccaneers lose this game. I don't know that Brady loses this particular game.
I'm feeling worse about it with each line, because I'm thinking about Mike McCarthy, knowing that if he presses the wrong button, he's fired.
But also, I think we look at those rosters and we go, all right, well, there's some age. Not Brady, but there's some age on that Tampa team that Dallas just doesn't have. Dallas has studs, especially that defensive front. Like, it's a really good defensive front, and they are going to be all over Brady. And if it's a 10-sack kind of game, if the Cowboys get a lead and all Brady has to do is throw,
ears,
Yeah, I don't think like 3-yard passes to Leonard Fournette's going to get this done. And that was I think, didn't Brady set the NFL record for the most pass attempts
I know
in a
he
season?
threw that much, but I didn't realize like how wild it was until it got to the end of the season. And then I looked it up, and he's 180 more attempts than Josh Allen.
and he broke his record from last year.
Right, yeah.
And the way they're doing this is throwing 4-yard passes to Leonard Fournette. It's basically because they can't run, so it's an extension of the running game. Well, in this game, if you get down, that's flat out not going to work. I mean,
right.
Just sniff it out, and their linebackers are just too good. Micah Parsons laugh. Okay, yeah, me against Leonard Fournette 1-on-1. Let's see what happens. You know?
Right, yeah.
I feel pretty good about that. So I definitely see where this can go wrong, but I'm going to be on Tampa. Out of these 6, do you have like a favored?
I'm pretty close to Buffalo. It's a huge line, but I just think they're playing a rookie. I know Brock Purdy's a rookie too, but this is ridiculous. But you know what? I'm actually gonna go with Cincinnati. I think they're playing really well, and it's a big line, but it's big for a reason. And I can see. My thing is like if they get up 10-0 early, like what's like you said, what's the Ravens' counter? Like Styles made fights. I just think there's way too many paths to this being like a 21-10 game or a 24-10 game. So yeah.
I totally get it. I'm going to be on. I think I'll say the Niners, even though, like I said, the Sharps seem to be saying this is a close game. It's a low-scoring game. This is 16-10, and we take our lumps. But I feel like probably not.
They've been amazing. Yeah,
they've been really good, but I just don't trust Seattle at all on either side of the ball. To be honest, I don't trust them. I don't think they score a lot of points against the Niners without a lot of mistakes. And I mean, do we like their defense? It's okay.
No, not really. It's kind of smoke and mirrors. Yeah.
Young, fast guys in the secondary.
Right, that's what it is.
Otherwise, I'm not that into it. So we want to know down in the comments what your, dear viewer, your best bet is. And let's see if anybody can get it right this week. That would be lovely. Before we go, Jim, this is our chance before any playoff games have been played.
Right.
Do you have a AFC champion and an NFC champion? Your Super Bowl, who's going to be in it? You don't have to give me a winner, but who's going to be in it? Do you have a prediction?
I do. Philadelphia and Buffalo.
Those are mine too.
Yeah. I just think like we just talked about the Giants winning. I really do think there's this path for Philadelphia where it's like Giants at home and then the Niners maybe. And like the Niners are really good, but that's a pretty nice path. Like in terms of Daniel Jones, Brock Purdy, like that'd be cool.
I'm totally shocked. I would have bet Dave Piper $100 that you weren't going to pick the Eagles.
Yeah.
I never ever would have thought you would.
I usually emotionally hedge, but
I know. Curse your team with and plus we're both doing it, so now they're both going to lose.
It's bad right
away. Good news is the Eagles can't lose this week, so I'll give you as of the moment we're recording this, I'm looking at the sportsbook, the DraftKings sportsbook site. It is an 8-1 shot. It is the 4th most lowest odds, right? The matchup that has the 4th best chance of happening is Eagles Bills. The best is Eagles Chiefs. That's plus 650, so that's 6.5 to 1. Then you get Chiefs 49ers at 7 to 1. You get Bills Eagles. I guess it's the third, but we both said Bills Eagles. It's the third. Yeah. It's set plus 750, and then Bills 49ers is the one that's 8. So it's this was so organized. What a great effort I did here.
I look forward to the public hating Philadelphia fans for another couple weeks. That would be so fun. Like
plus 750, third choice on the board. So basically. The Eagles are the NFC favorite. We know this.
Right.
They get the bye. And the Chiefs are the AFC favorite. And I think in that, we get that because they just don't have this extra game to lose. I'll be interested to see after we see how the good teams look during Wild Card Week, and we get to the next week where now the Chiefs and Eagles don't have that extra advantage of not having to play a game that they get upset in. Whether these odds change at all, because.
Sure.
I don't know that there's a bulletproof team. I think we both agree the Eagles are not a bulletproof team.
Nope.
Defense hasn't played well for a while. Mm-hmm. I don't know why, but it's not played that well. And speaking of defenses that aren't playing well, like Mahomes is great, but the Chiefs are giving up yards and points.
It's Chris Jones and a bunch of dudes.
Yeah. So those, the 49ers have a great team, but the quarterback is the problem. I think if it were still Jimmy Garoppolo, we might be singing a different tune on them.
Favorites, right.
Like we're both viewing the Bills as probably good value because if they play the Chiefs, it's not in Kansas City in the AFC Championship game. But I mean, Josh Allen might need Tommy John surgery for heaven's sake.
Right.
He looked great last week, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think there's a super great team.
Right. No, there isn't. The AFC is just super interesting because of the quarterback caliber. The NFC is just, I don't know what to say. It's
a mess. It's a lot of mess. I mean, a Philly 49er NFC Championship game would be pretty satisfying.
Oh, that'd be a good game. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be pretty satisfying. But
there'd be a lot of talent on the field, even with the quarterback thing. So
that's right. And the Philly quarterback, I think is very, very good. All right, that's going to do it. We want to know your best bet down in the comments. We appreciate you sticking around with us. We're going to do so well. I think we varied on 2 games here, so I don't know. I think actually my best bet really is that teaser to take Jacksonville and Tampa and tease them up 6 points. We'll see if that comes through as well. We thank all of you for watching. We thank DraftKings very, very much for sponsoring, because without them, we would not have this show to do. And we thank Dave Piper for being the best producer in the business. For Jim, I'm Chris. Thanks for watching. Thanks so much for watching. Please, please, please smash that like button. Write a comment. Tell us who else you'd like to see us review film on. And of course, best of all, please subscribe to our channel and then click that little bell above the subscribe button, and you'll be notified whenever we post a new video.